When I returned to the dormitory from my vacation, I was shocked to find a newborn baby crying on my bed. This earth-shattering surprise left me completely bewildered. Fortunately, I've always loved children since I was young. I picked up the crying baby while immediately calling the dorm supervisor and the counselor. The counselor rushed over and surprisingly told me to keep quiet, saying the school was in the midst of an accreditation process and that they would handle the matter discreetly, assuring me not to worry. I never expected my roommate to post a photo of me holding a baby on the school forum. In an instant, I became a campus celebrity, labeled as a promiscuous student who got pregnant out of wedlock and gave birth in the dormitory. In the end, due to personal moral issues, the school demanded that I drop out and take care of my daughter. My wealthy boyfriend didn't even give me a chance to explain before breaking up with me. Actually, my roommate had been eyeing my boyfriend for a long time. After I dropped out, she successfully seduced him. Later, she married into a wealthy family and became a young mistress. As for me, I was forced to take my daughter back to the countryside, only to be driven out of the house by my disgraced parents. Overwhelmed with sorrow, I jumped into the river with my child in my arms, ending our lives. Later, I was reborn, returning to the moment I discovered the baby. In this life, I will never repeat the historical tragedy again. The icy river water poured into my mouth and nose, my lungs aching as if they were bursting. The crying of the baby in my arms grew faint, and my consciousness began to blur. Is this how it ends? Carrying a child that isn't mine, bearing the shame of being called a slut, abandoned by everyone. Wah wah. The piercing cries of a baby yanked me abruptly back to reality. I opened my eyes and found myself standing in a university dormitory, sunlight streaming through the gaps in the curtains, casting light on the small, squirming figure on the bed. I raised my trembling hand, my skin smooth and firm, without the sallow pallor of long-term malnutrition. The phone screen lit up, showing the date, September 15th, 2018, Saturday, 9:17 a.m. I had been reborn, back to the day the nightmare began. The baby girl on the bed weighed about 6 pounds, wrapped in a blood-stained towel, with her umbilical cord already cut. In my past life, I panicked and immediately called the counselor, unaware that I was falling into the trap carefully laid by Yu Yatong. Footsteps sounded outside the door, and I quickly calmed down. Every detail of my tragic end from my past life was etched into my bones. Being expelled from school, abandoned by my boyfriend Jing Yao, the look of disappointment in my parents' eyes, wandering the streets with this child, and finally taking my own life in despair. And Yu Yatong, my good roommate, stepped on my reputation to marry into a wealthy family, becoming the enviable Mrs. Jing. Rui Ning, are you in there? Yu Yatong's syrupy voice sounded from outside the door, accompanied by a soft knock. I took a deep breath, quickly snapped a photo of the baby and the bloodstains on the sheets with my phone, then switched it to recording mode and tucked it into my pocket. Come in. My voice was unexpectedly calm. The door opened, and Yu Yatong's delicate face peeked in. She had light makeup on today, her long hair draped over her shoulders, and she wore a loose hoodie perfectly concealing her postpartum figure. Oh my God! What is this? Her shriek nearly pierced my eardrums, her expression exaggerated like a third-rate actress. Rui Ning, you gave birth. In the dorm. In my past life. I was fooled by her masterful acting and panically explained that the child wasn't mine. This time, I calmly observed every subtle expression on her face, the smugness flickering in her eyes, the corners of her mouth barely suppressing a smile. I don't know what happened either. I just came back from home and saw this child. I deliberately acted flustered and at a loss. Yu Yatong immediately rushed over and hugged me, whispering in my ear in a voice only we could hear, "Don't be afraid. I'll help you." Then she turned and rushed into the corridor, screaming hysterically, "Somebody help. Something's happened." Ruining gave birth in the dormitory. Within less than 10 minutes, students from the entire floor had gathered at our dormitory door, pointing and whispering among themselves. Someone had already taken out their phone and started taking pictures. Yu Yatong stood in the center of the crowd, like a dutiful press spokesperson. Everyone, stop taking pictures. Ruining needs her privacy, even though she made a mistake. We still need to protect her dignity. I sat on the edge of the bed, gently patting the crying baby, watching her performance with cold eyes. In my past life, at this moment, I had already broken down in tears, desperately explaining that this was not my child. But no one believed me. This time, however, I silently gathered every piece of evidence. Counselor Teacher Cheng rushed over, his face ashen. Everyone, disperse. Don't crowd around here. She shooed the crowd away, closed the door, and swept a stern gaze over me and Yu Yatong, finally landing on the baby. Whose is it? She cut straight to the point. Teacher Cheng. It's Rui Ning's. Yu Yatong answered first, tears in her eyes. She's been going out late at night recently, and when she comes back, she vomits. I should have noticed sooner. It wasn't me, I said calmly. I just got back from home. And this child was already in my bed. Teacher Cheng frowned, clearly unconvinced. She pulled me aside and lowered her voice. Qin ruining. The school is in a critical period of applying for the double first-class initiative. If news of this gets out, the impact will be extremely damaging. Whether it's yours or not, just take responsibility for now, and we'll sort it out slowly. Okay. Exactly the same words as in my past life. I sneered inwardly, but nodded obediently on the surface. I understand. Teacher Cheng. For the school's reputation, I'll cooperate. Teacher Cheng visibly relaxed and patted my shoulder. Good girl. I'll contact the hospital and school leaders right away. You take care of the baby first. After she left, Yu Yatong hypocritically handed me a cup of hot water. Rui Ning. Don't worry. I'll be with you the whole time. I took the cup of water and met her eyes directly. Thank you, Yatong. You really are the best friend. A flicker of unease flashed in her eyes, quickly replaced by a look of concern. Does Jingyao know? Mentioning Jingyao still made my heart ache. In my past life, when he found out I had given birth in the dormitory, he broke up with me without even giving me a chance to explain, and turned right into Yatong's arms. I haven't told him yet. I looked down at the baby. Her tiny face was wrinkled but strangely familiar. In my past life, I was forced to raise her for 2 years, from resistance to acceptance, and even instinctively shielded her with my body when I jumped into the river. Yu Yatong had already taken out her phone. How about I tell him for you? After all, news like this. No need. I cut her off. I'll handle it myself. She awkwardly put down her phone and made an excuse about buying baby supplies before leaving the dormitory. After confirming she was far away, I immediately locked the door, pulled out my phone still recording from my pocket, and called Chi Wenchen, a senior from the law school who was the only person to defend me in court in my past life. When the call connected, I held back my tears. Senior Chi, this is Qin ruining. I need your help. Someone is framing me. After hanging up, I opened the campus forum. Several related posts were already floating on the homepage. Shocking. Female finance student secretly gives birth in dormitory. An exclusive photo. Qin ruining holding a newborn. Looking haggard. In the photo, I'm holding a baby, and my expression is far from pleasant. The comments are filled with all kinds of malicious speculation. I heard she's dating multiple rich heirs at the same time. The child's father might be a married professor. She acts all aloof on the surface, but behind the scenes. I close the web page and gently rock the baby, who has already fallen asleep. This time, I won't make the same mistake. Yu Yatong. Jing Yao, everyone who has hurt me will make you pay. Revenge has only just begun. After Yu Yatong left, I immediately locked the dormitory door and pulled out a spare phone from under my pillow. This device, which I never let out of my sight, would become my weapon for counterattack. The baby squirmed restlessly in my arms. Its little face flushed red. My past self would have been completely overwhelmed by now, with no time to care for this innocent life. But now, I skillfully check her diaper. It's indeed soaked through. Don't worry, this time I won't leave you behind. I whisper. fashioning a makeshift diaper from the bedsheet. My phone vibrates. It's a reply from Chi Wen-chen. I'll be at the girls' dormitory in 10 minutes. Wear a gray hoodie. I quickly backed up the recording file to the cloud, then photographed every corner of the dormitory, the bloodstained towel, the messy bedding, the suspicious tissues in the trash can. In my past life, all this evidence was kindly cleaned up by the dormitory matron. The sound of hurried footsteps and murmurs came from the hallway. I heard Qin Ruining secretly gave birth in the dormitory. Really? I always thought she was such a dignified type. The photos are all over the forum. I bit my lower lip until I tasted blood. These voices had made it impossible for me to sleep in my past life. But now, they only make me more clear-headed. The phone vibrated again. It was a message from Jing Yao. Answer the phone. Urgent. I took a deep breath and pressed the answer button. Rui Ning. What's the deal with those photos on the forum? Jing Yao's voice was as cold as ice. You'd better give me an explanation. In my past life, I had sobbed uncontrollably during this phone call, desperately explaining that the child wasn't mine, only to be met with his cold hang-up. This time, I choose silence. Say something. He raised his voice. That child. I can't explain right now. I lowered my voice. But please believe me, it's not what you think. There was silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds. My parents saw the photos. His tone softened. They're angry. Ruining. If you need help. Thanks. But no thanks. I cut him off. Let's talk another day. I hung up the phone with a cold sneer. Jing Yao's so-called help in my past life was nothing more than a breakup notice and an engagement invitation to Yu Yatong. A knock sounded at the door, followed by Counselor Cheng's voice. Qin Ruining. Open the door. I quickly wiped away my tears, settled the baby, and then opened the door. Behind Teacher Cheng stood the dormitory supervisor and 2 security guards, with Yu Yatong at the outermost edge, her eyes red and swollen, as if she had been crying. The school administration takes this matter very seriously, Teacher Cheng said with a stern face. How is the child? He's asleep. I turned sideways to let them in. Is there anything I need to do? The dorm matron headed straight for my bed as soon as she entered, swiftly beginning to change the sheets. I noticed her stuffing the bloodstained sheets into a black garbage bag, the same old routine, destroying the evidence. First, we need to determine who the child's father is. Teacher Cheng adjusted his glasses. This concerns the school's reputation. Yu Yatong suddenly interjected. Rui Ning has been staying out late a lot recently. Last week, I even saw her getting out of a luxury car. I stared at her intently, and she guiltily averted her gaze. Qin Rui Ning, Teacher Cheng said sternly. The school is applying for key discipline status. If this blows up, you know the consequences. In my past life, I was intimidated by these words and obediently admitted to a crime that wasn't mine. But today, Teacher Cheng, I put on a panicked expression. I understand the seriousness of the matter. For the sake of the school's reputation, I am willing to cooperate with the investigation. Teacher Cheng visibly breathed a sigh of relief. Good child. The school hospital has already sent a car over. Let's have the child examined first. A flicker of surprise crossed Yu Yatong's face, clearly not expecting me to be so compliant. While they weren't paying attention, I quietly pressed the record button on my phone. Yatong. I turned to her, my voice choked with emotion. Thank you for always being by my side. Could you help me send a message to Jing Yao? I'm not in a position to do it myself right now. Her eyes lit up. Of course. What do you want me to say? Just say. I pretended to think. Say that I'm sorry about the child. But I have my reasons. Yu Yatong eagerly pulled out her phone. No problem. I'll tell him right away. I could almost imagine what she would send to Jing Yao. In my past life, she used this kind-hearted help approach to slowly drive a wedge between me and Jing Yao. The arrival of the school doctor interrupted my thoughts. They took the baby away, saying they needed to conduct a full examination. Teacher Cheng insisted on accompanying them. But before leaving, she warned me not to leave the dormitory. The door closed, leaving only me and Yu Yatong in the dormitory. Rui Ning. She hesitated. Actually, I noticed something was off about you a long time ago. Oh. I sat on the edge of the bed. What seemed off? You often sneak out in the middle of the night. And when you come back, your clothes are all messy. She leaned closer to me, lowering her voice. And once, I saw you throwing up in the bathroom. A wave of nausea hit me. These were all her own symptoms. In my past life, I was too naive to realize she was projecting her own actions onto me. Yatong. I suddenly grabbed her hand. Actually, the child is Jingyao's. Her pupils contracted sharply. What? Last month we had a fight. And I acted on impulse. I fabricated a story. Watching her reaction. But Jingyao's family would never accept this child. So I've been too afraid to say anything. Yu Yatong's hands trembled slightly. Whether from anger or excitement. I couldn't tell. You. How could you be so foolish? Her voice quivered. Does Jingyao know? I shook my head. Tears sliding down at just the right moment. I don't dare tell him. Yatong. You're my best friend. Can you? I'll help you. She blurted out. I can pretend to be the mother of the child first. And once the storm passes. Then. No need. I interrupted her. I've already decided to take responsibility myself. A flicker of malice crossed her face, quickly replaced by concern. So what do you plan to do next? Let's wait for the school's arrangements first. I sighed. By the way, can you help me buy some baby supplies? I'll transfer the money to you. Yu Yatong hesitated for a moment but still agreed. As soon as she left, I immediately sent a message to Chi Wenchen. She took the bait. 5 minutes later, Chi Wenchen replied. In position. I pulled back a corner of the curtain and saw a tall figure in a gray hoodie downstairs. In my past life, Chi Wenchen was the only one who defended me in court. Unfortunately, the evidence was insufficient at the time. And there was no turning back. This time, I will make him my sharpest sword. My phone vibrated a push notification from the campus forum. Exclusive scoop. Qin Ruining's ambiguous chat records with a married professor. I opened the post, which contains several forged WeChat screenshots with explicit and inappropriate content. The poster is a newly registered small account, but the writing style is exactly the same as Yu Yatong's. The comments have exploded. I never thought she was that kind of person. I heard the child's father is Professor Wang from the School of Economics and Management. Acting all innocent. Huh. I calmly took a screenshot and saved it. Yu Yatong. Is this your trump card? The dormitory door suddenly burst open, and Yu Yatong rushed in, panting. Rui Ning. Those posts on the forum. I saw them. I said calmly. They're all fake. But, she bit her lip. Everyone's talking about it now. And Jingyao even called to ask me. What did he say? My heart began to race. He said. A flicker of triumph flashed in Yu Yatong's eyes. He never wants to see you again. I felt as if struck by lightning. Though I had anticipated it, a sharp pain still pierced my heart. He also said. Yu Yatong added. That he hopes you won't bother him anymore. I lowered my head, not letting Yu Yatong see the anger in my eyes. In my past life, she used this very tactic to slowly steal Jingyao away from me. I understand. I said softly. Could you leave me alone for a moment? Yu Yatong gave me a hypocritical hug before turning to leave. As soon as the door closed, I immediately dialed Chi Wenchen's number. The screenshot is fake. I cut straight to the point. Can you trace the IP? I'm already on it, he said in a steady voice. Also, I found Yu Yatong's prenatal checkup records. I gripped my phone tighter. Where? At the city's maternal and child health hospital, registered under a fake name. He paused. What's even more explosive is that the father's information field is blank. I sneered. She doesn't even know whose child it is. There's one more thing. Chi Wenchen lowered his voice. Your boyfriend just went to the law school to consult about a defamation lawsuit. I was stunned. Jingyao. Yes. He doesn't seem to fully believe those rumors. A flicker of warmth rose in my heart, but I quickly became wary again. In my past life, Jingyao had briefly stood by my side, but in the end, he abandoned me under family pressure. Keep monitoring Yu Yadong's every move, I instructed, especially her interactions with Jing Yao. After hanging up the phone, I turned on my computer and logged into the campus network. I typed Yu Yadong leave records into the search bar and, sure enough, found that she had been taking frequent leaves over the past 3 months. All citing family matters as the reason. How did I never notice these anomalies in my past life? Footsteps sounded from outside the door again. This time, it was Teacher Cheng returning with the baby. The test results are healthy. She handed the sleeping baby to me. The school leadership has decided to temporarily arrange for you to live off campus. We'll deal with the matter once the investigation is clear. I nodded obediently. Sneering inward, Lythe's so-called investigation had dragged on for half a year in my past life without any conclusion, ultimately ending with my voluntary withdrawal from school. By the way, Teacher Cheng said before leaving, Yu Yadong has volunteered to stay with you and take care of you and the child. I jerked my head up. What? She said she's your best friend and couldn't bear to see you suffer alone. Teacher Cheng showed a relieved expression. This kind of friendship is truly rare. I almost let out a laugh. Indeed. A rare good friend, the good friend who personally pushed me into the abyss in my past life. Thank you, Teacher Cheng. I lowered my head to hide the sharpness in my eyes. I am also very grateful to Yadong. After Teacher Cheng left, I stood by the window, watching the sunset dye the campus in shades of blood. The evidence saved on my phone was growing, but I knew it was still far from enough. Yu Yadong, since you insist on putting on this act, I'll play along to the very end. But this time, the one kneeling and begging for mercy at the curtain call will surely be you. At 3 a.m, the baby's cries were especially piercing in the silent rental house. Yu Yadong turned over and covered her ears with a pillow. So annoying, she muttered. Can't you make her shut up? I ignored it and gently picked up the child. Walking to the balcony, the 2 years I was forced to raise her in my past life taught me all the childcare skills. Warming the bottle, checking the diaper, patting her back. Within 5 minutes, the baby was fast asleep again. Under the moonlight, her little face was peaceful and serene. I gently touched the small birthmark on her forehead, exactly the same as in the previous life. How ironic fate is, allowing me to meet this innocent life again after my rebirth. The phone screen lit. It was an encrypted file sent by Chi Wenchen. I entered the password, and after decompressing it, it turned out to be a medical record from the City Maternal and Child Health Hospital. Lin Xiaoya, the alias used by Yu Yadong, had 4 prenatal checkup records clearly listed within 3 months. The last one was a ultrasound report from a week before delivery, with a handwritten note from the doctor. Fetal development is good. Estimated weight 5.86. 2 gene. It matched the baby girl on the bed perfectly. I clenched my teeth and continued flipping through the pages. Chi Wenchen even managed to obtain Yu Yadong's blood test report. Her blood type was B, while the baby's was O. If I had had this evidence in my past life, my grievances would have been cleared long ago. The phone vibrated again. Checked her Taobao records. The keyword was baby products, and the delivery address was the school's parcel locker. Then came a dozen screenshots. Baby bottles, diapers, baby clothes. The earliest order was placed 3 months ago. I sneered. Yu Yadong, you really came prepared. There's more. Chi Wenchen sent another message. She bought a second-hand stroller on Xianyu. The transaction record shows the seller is a senior from the School of Economics and Management. My eyes lit up. Can you get in touch with this senior? Already arranged to meet at a cafe tomorrow afternoon. I replied with an okay and then deleted the chat history. When I turned around, I found Yu Yadong standing at the balcony door, her eyes dark and sinister. Who are you chatting with in the middle of the night? She stared at my phone. It wouldn't be the child's father, would it? I deliberately put on a flustered expression. No, it's just my mom asking about my situation. Yu Yadong snatched the phone from me and quickly swiped through the screen. I was well prepared. There were only a few baby photos in the album, and my WeChat chat history had been completely cleared. Humph. She tossed the phone back to me. Teacher Cheng said there will be a class meeting tomorrow to discuss your issue. You'd better be mentally prepared. I kept my head down and said nothing, but a storm was raging inside me. At the class meeting in my previous life, I was publicly humiliated. No one spoke up for me, and I eventually ran out of the classroom in tears. By the way, Yu Yatong said meaningfully before turning away. Jing Yao will be coming tomorrow too. I jerked my head up. Didn't he go abroad for an exchange? He came back early. A faint smile curled at the corner of her lips. I heard his family arranged a blind date for him, the daughter of a listed company. My heart felt like it was being squeezed by an invisible hand. In my past life, Jing Yao did have an arranged marriage partner, but that was half a year after we broke up. Could the timeline have moved up? After Yu Yatong left, I stayed awake all night, organizing all the evidence to the cloud and sending a detailed plan to Qi Wenchen. At daybreak, the baby cried again. Yu Yatong slammed the door and left, cursing, saying she had to go to class. I waited until the sound of her footsteps faded, then immediately began searching her belongings. Her drawer was locked, but that didn't stop me. I easily pried it open with a bobby pin. And inside lay a stack of original prenatal checkup reports and a few ultrasound photos. Idiot, I muttered softly, snapping photos of every sheet with my phone. At the very bottom was a sticky note with a phone number and the words "hush money." I dialed the number, and the other party answered quickly. Hello. It was a male voice, sounding quite young. Hi, I'm a friend of Yu Yatong. I lowered my voice. She asked me to ask about the hush money. How dare she still bring that up? The other party suddenly erupted in anger. We agreed on 50,000, but she only paid 20,000. Tell her, if she doesn't pay up, I'll upload the video from that night to the internet. The phone was slammed down abruptly. I stood frozen in place. What an unexpected gain was this? Without time to think further, I quickly restored the drawer to its original state and then checked the trash bin. Yu Yatong had thrown away a black garbage bag yesterday. When I opened it, inside were blood-stained gauze and several crumpled tissues. Found you. I put on gloves and carefully placed these pieces of evidence into a sealed bag. In my past life, all these key pieces of evidence were destroyed by Yu Yatong. This time, I will personally send her to hell. After getting everything ready, I carried the baby and headed to school. The class meeting starts at 10, but I must see Qi Wenchen first. On campus, the stares of passers-by felt like needles piercing my back. A few girls deliberately spoke loudly in discussion. That's her, the one who gave birth in the dorm. I heard the child's father has a family. Shameless. I held the baby tight and walked past with my head held high. Let them curse. Soon, I will make the truth known to everyone. Qi Wenchen was waiting for me in the law school library. He was wearing a dark blue shirt today, and his gaze behind the gold-rimmed glasses was as sharp as an eagle's. Senior was very cooperative. He handed me a handwritten testimony. She said that when Yu Yatong bought the stroller, she claimed it was for her cousin in the countryside. But during casual conversation, she mentioned a lot of professional parenting knowledge. And this. I took out a sealed bag. Blood-stained gauze and traces of placenta. Qi Wenchen's eyes lit up. If we send it for testing, the DNA comparison will confirm it belongs to Yu Yatong. There's no time. I shook my head. The class meeting starts in an hour, and Teacher Cheng is going to publicly deal with my problem. Qi Wenchen pondered for a moment, then suddenly asked, Have you been in touch with Jing Yao recently? No. Yu Yatong said he went back to his home country and would come to the class meeting today. Interesting. Qi Wenchen adjusted his glasses. My roommate saw him at the international student dormitory just yesterday and said his flight back home is scheduled for next week. My heart raced. Are you saying Yu Yatong is lying? Or Jing Yao came back early? He looked at me meaningfully. But why hasn't he contacted you? This question stabbed into my heart like a knife. Yeah, why? In my past life, he at least gave me a reason for breaking up. But this time, he didn't even show his face. Let's set that aside for now. Qi Wenchen interrupted my thoughts. No matter what happens during the class meeting, don't act impulsively. We don't have enough evidence yet. I know. I gave a bitter smile. It's not like it's my first time being publicly executed. Before parting, Chi Wenchen suddenly grabbed my wrist. Qin ruining. This time will be different. His palm was warm and dry, giving me an inexplicable strength. The class meeting started on time. I walked into the classroom holding the baby, and the noise instantly ceased as everyone's eyes focused on me. Teacher Cheng stood at the podium with a gloomy expression. To my surprise, Jing Yao was indeed sitting in the last row, next to the impeccably dressed Yu Yatong. The two of them whispering to each other. My heart sank to the bottom. Jing Yao looked noticeably haggard, with dark circles under his eyes. When his gaze met mine, he quickly looked away. Class. Teacher Cheng tapped the podium. The theme of today's class meeting is campus civility and moral standards. Some things have happened recently that have seriously affected the image of the class and the school. Her stern gaze swept over me. Classmate Qin Ruining's behavior has seriously violated school rules. After deliberation by the school, it is proposed to give a demerit punishment. The classroom erupted in an uproar. Yu Yatong hypocritically raised her hand. Teacher Cheng. Ruining already knows she was wrong. Can you show leniency? Yeah. Another girl chimed in. Even though her private life is a mess, the child is innocent. I clenched my fists, my nails digging deep into my palms. These lines were exactly the same as in my past life. Even the speakers were identical. Qin Ruining. Teacher Cheng looked at me. Do you have anything to say? The entire class's gaze once again focused on me. My past self collapsed here, sobbing uncontrollably and stammering out excuses, only to be met with more ridicule. Today, I slowly stood up, my voice clear. Teacher Cheng, I have just one question. Has the school investigated the child's DNA? The classroom fell into a terrifying silence. Yu Yatong's face turned pale in an instant. Teacher Cheng frowned. What do you mean by that? Nothing. I smiled. I'm just curious, on what basis does the school conclude that the child is mine without any scientific evidence? The photos have spread all over the internet. A male student shouted. The way you're holding the child, isn't it obvious? What can a photo prove? I countered. I could take a picture holding a panda, but that wouldn't make me a panda mother. Sporadic laughter rippled through the classroom. Yu Yatong couldn't sit still anymore. She stood up and pointed at me. Rui Ning, we all know you've been through a lot, but lying won't do you any good. Really? I looked her straight in the eyes. Then can you swear in front of the whole class that this child has nothing to do with you? Yu Yatong's lips began to tremble. Just then, Jing Yao suddenly stood up, his chair scraping against the floor with a harsh sound. Enough. His voice was hoarse. This shouldn't be discussed during class time. The entire class stared at him in shock. Jing Yao had always been the model student representative, never openly contradicting a teacher. Teacher Cheng was also stunned. Jing Yao, do you have any suggestions? The school should wait for the DNA results before taking any action. He didn't even glance at me. Otherwise, it could lead to a wrongful accusation. Yu Yatong whipped her head around to glare at him. Her eyes filled with disbelief. My heart raced. Was Jing Yao helping me? The class meeting ended in a strange atmosphere. Teacher Cheng reluctantly agreed to postpone the punishment pending further investigation. As soon as I stepped out of the classroom, Yu Yatong caught up to me. What kind of spell did you cast on Jing Yao? She grabbed my arm fiercely. Why did he speak up for you? The baby was so frightened that it burst into loud crying. I coldly shook her off. What? Is your dream of marrying into a wealthy family about to shatter? Yu Yatong's expression twisted for a moment before returning to calm. Don't get too cocky. Qin Ruining. Jing Yao only pities you. His family has long arranged a betrothal for him. Perfect. Then, I said with a smile, I wish you a speedy rise to becoming Mrs. Jing. She stormed off in a huff. I turned around and found Jing Yao standing at the corner of the corridor, having clearly overheard the entire conversation. We looked at each other, neither of us speaking first. Finally, he handed me a USB drive. What's inside might be useful to you. Then he turned and walked away, his back resolute and lonely. I clutched the USB drive, my heart a mix of emotions. Back in my rented room, I immediately checked the contents of the USB drive. Inside were an audio file and a few photos. The recording was a conversation between Yu Yatong and a guy. I've received the money. When will you delete the original video? What's the rush? This is a scandalous photo of the Jing family's only son. And it's worth a fortune. You dare to mess with me. Believe me. I'll spill the beans about you helping me forge things. The photo was a picture of Yu Yatong and that guy standing together at the entrance of a hotel. Dated 6 months ago. A chill ran through my entire body. This recording proves two things. Yu Yatong used fake explicit photos to blackmail Jing Yao. And she also has an accomplice behind her. My phone suddenly rang. It was Qi Wenchen. The test results are out. The bloodstains on the gauze are type O, matching the baby's. Yu Yatong is type B. I murmured. Medically, a type B mother cannot give birth to a type O child. Ironclad evidence. Qi Wenchen's voice carried the joy of victory. We've won. Qin ruining. No. That's not enough. I gazed at the darkening sky outside the window. I need to know who the male accomplice is. And why Yu Yatong framed me. After hanging up the phone, the baby started crying again. I gently picked her up and hummed a lullaby I had composed in my past life. She quickly quieted down, her tiny hand tightly gripping my finger. This time, I whispered and promise, I will give you a different ending. I deliberately smashed the cup on the ground, sending shards of glass flying everywhere. Why has everyone abandoned me? I cried out hysterically. My acting worthy of an Oscar winner. Jing Yao doesn't want me anymore. The school is going to expel me, and even my parents won't answer my calls. Yu Yatong sat by the bed, a predator-like excitement flickering in her eyes. She had waited too long for this memento see me break. To see me despair. To see me kneel and beg for mercy. Ruining. Don't be like this. She hypocritically wrapped her arms around my shoulders. I'm still here for you. I leaned into her embrace, sobbing even harder. Yatong. I actually have something I've been hiding from you. Her body stiffened noticeably for a moment. What is it? Child. I bit my lip until I tasted blood. The child is mine and the department head's. Yu Yatong gasped sharply. This lie was explosive enough. The department head was in his 50s, married with children, and known at school for his strictness. Oh my God. Her voice turned shrill with excitement. How could you? At the end of last semester, he called me to his office to talk about the scholarship. I fabricated the story, watching her reaction. And then, he forced me. I was too scared to speak out. Yu Yatong's hands trembled slightly. Whether from shock or ecstasy, this fool must be thinking that if this story gets out, it won't just completely destroy me, but also bring down a department head. That hat child. She pressed. I originally wanted to have an abortion. Tears streamed down my face. But the doctor said my constitution is special, and a miscarriage could lead to permanent infertility. Yu Yatong held me tightly. Poor ruining. This is not your fault. I sneered from an angle she couldn't see. Hook, line, and sinker. Yatong, can you keep a secret from me? I lifted my tearful eyes. If this gets out, I'm truly finished. Of course, she vowed solemnly. I swear I won't tell anyone. We embraced and wept, each harboring our own ulterior motives. I knew she would spread this secret before the night was over, but what she didn't know was that my phone was recording under the pillow. Sure enough, at 9 in the evening, Yu Yatong said she was going to buy a late-night snack. As soon as she left, I immediately opened my laptop and remotely connected to the monitoring program on her computer. This was Qi Wenchen's little gift. Yu Yatong didn't head to the cafeteria. Instead, she went straight to the 3rd floor of the girls' dormitory. The surveillance footage showed her knocking on the door of room 317, which was her best friend Lin Miao's dormitory. Big news. Yu Yatong's voice came through clearly over the microphone. Qin Ruining's child belongs to the department head. What? Several girls' exclamations rang out at the same time. She admitted it herself. The department head raped her last semester. Yu Yatong's tone was filled with malicious delight. She's completely finished now. Do you have proof? Lin Miao asked. Her own words are proof enough. Aren't they? Yu Yatong said impatiently. And think about it, has the school been suppressing this matter and not dealing with it? Isn't it because it involves the department head? I sneered and saved the recording. Perfect. She not only repeated my lie but also added embellishments. By the way, how's Jing Yao doing? Lin Miao asked. Yu Yadong smiled smugly. His family has already arranged for him to meet the heiress of the Chen group. Someone like Qin Ruining isn't even worthy of polishing his shoes. You're amazing. Killing two birds with one stone. Another girl flattered. You got rid of Qin Ruining and secured Jing Yao at the same time. This is just the beginning. Yu Yadong's voice suddenly lowered. I have leverage over Jing Yao. He has no choice but to marry me. My heart skipped a beat. Leverage. Was it referring to those fake scandalous photos? The monitoring program suddenly blared an alarm. Yu Yadong was logging into the campus forum. I immediately switched to keystroke and mouse recording mode, watching her create a new post titled Finance Department Head Rapes Female Student, Causing Pregnancy, with pictures and proof. Just as she was about to click publish, I remotely disconnected her internet. What's going on? Yu Yadong's furious voice came through the monitor. Damn, campus network is down again. I quickly shut down the surveillance and deleted the traces. The evidence was sufficient. There was no need to alert the enemy. My phone vibrated. It was Qi Wenchen. Found it. Yu Yadong has been in frequent contact with former Student Council President Zheng Yi over the past month. Zheng Yi. That senior who dropped out last year because of the graduate recommendation scandal. What's their relationship? I replied. The hotel records show that over the past 6 months, they had a fixed meeting at a hotel near the school every Wednesday. Qi Wenchen sent a few photos. What's more interesting is that Zheng Yi was in charge of the dormitory attendance system before he dropped out. My eyes lit up. Were Yu Yadong's absence records tampered with? Smart. She actually had 37 absences. But the system only shows 5. Another solid piece of evidence. Yu Yadong was completely unaware that every step she took was within my calculations. Early the next morning, Counselor Cheng suddenly called. Qin Ruining. Come to my office immediately. Her tone was unusually serious. I settled the baby down and hurried to the administration building. In Teacher Cheng's office sat the department head and the director of the student affairs office. The three of them had faces as gloomy as the sky before a STO. Qin Ruining. The department head said bluntly. I heard you've been spreading rumors that I sexually assaulted you. I feigned shock. What? I didn't. Student Yu Yadong has reported you to us. The director of the student affairs office pushed a document forward. She said you personally admitted this to her. I barely held back my laughter. As expected, Yu Yadong couldn't contain herself and went straight to report it to the department head. I never said anything like that. My voice trembled. Yu Yadong has been trying to frame me all along. She planned everything, starting with the baby incident. Enough. The department head slammed the table and stood up. The school has decided to hold a disciplinary hearing next Monday to settle this matter once and for all. When Teacher Cheng saw me out, he lowered his voice and said, Qin Ruining, no matter what the truth is, I hope you'll consider the bigger picture. The department head's reputation in the faculty is not to be taken lightly. I understand. Teacher Cheng. I nodded obediently. I won't embarrass the school. As I walked out of the administrative building, I immediately contacted Qi Wenchen. The hearing is set for next Monday. We still have 4 days to prepare. More than enough. He said confidently. I just got the convenience store surveillance footage. It captured Yu Yadong buying painkillers on the day she gave birth. My heart raced. Can you tell it's her? Clearly. Her face was deathly pale, and she could barely walk steadily. Qi Wenchen paused. There's another thing. Jing Yao has been inquiring about the relationship between Yu Yadong and Zheng Yi. Did he find something? Not sure, but he's been frequenting the school archives lately. I fell into thought. In my past life, Jing Yao had never delved deeply into this matter. Could it be that he has changed in this life as well? Back in the rental apartment, Yu Yadong wasn't there. Her computer was still on, and I found myself walking over to it, only to discover that the browser history showed she had searched for post-abortion precautions today. Strange. She had already given birth. So why was she still concerned about this? My phone suddenly rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Qin ruining. The male voice sounded familiar. This is Zheng Yi. I held my breath. This was Yu Yadong's accomplice, the former student council president. What's the matter? I asked calmly. Yu Yadong wants to destroy you. But she also deceived me. His voice was filled with anger. I have something on her. Do you want it? Why are you helping me? I'm not helping you. I'm getting back at her. He sneered. The graduate school recommendation she promised me never materialized. We met at a secluded cafe. Zheng Yi was a tall, thin young man with dark circles under his eyes. Clearly not doing well. Look at this first. He slid a USB drive across the table. It contains recordings of Yu Yadong asking me to alter attendance records, as well as evidence of her instructing me to fabricate scandalous photos of Jing Yao. I took the USB drive. What do you want? Protection. He looked around nervously. Yu Yadong's father is no ordinary businessman, has connections on both sides of the law. If he finds out I leaked this. I understand. I put away the USB drive. Anything else? Zheng Yi hesitated for a moment. That child might not be Yu Yadong's. I shuddered. What do you mean? She once got drunk and let it slip that the child was bought from the countryside. All to set you up. My blood ran cold. The child I had raised for 2 years in my past life, was he not even Yu Yadong's biological son? Do you have any proof? Zheng Yi shook his head. Just drunken talk. But it's true that she still had her period when she was 7 months pregnant. That's not normal. On the subway ride back, my mind was racing. If the child really wasn't Yu Yadong's, then who were its biological parents? And why would they go along with such a conspiracy? After hearing my account, Qi Wenchen immediately began investigating recent infant abduction cases in the area. As for me, I started organizing all the evidence: recordings, surveillance footage, testimonies, medical records. The night before the hearing, Yu Yadong surprisingly returned to her room early. When I got up in the middle of the night, I heard her whispering on the phone in the bathroom. Dad, everything is arranged. Yes, after tomorrow she will completely disappear. And that bastard will be dealt with too. A chill ran through me. In my past life, I only thought she was a scheming bitch. But I never expected her to be so vicious. Back in the room, I stayed awake all night, backing up all the evidence to the cloud and sending a copy to both Qi Wenchen and Jing Yao. At dawn, I looked at the sleeping baby and gently stroked her little face. No matter whose child she was, I was determined to protect her. This time, I wouldn't let anyone hurt us. On the day of the hearing, I woke up at 5 in the morning. In the faint morning light, the baby was still sleeping soundly, her little face rosy. I gently stroked her forehead, where the small birthmark was particularly noticeable. Everything will change today. I whispered the promise, unsure whether it was meant for her or for myself. Spread out on the table were all the evidence: the transcript of the recording, Yu Yadong's prenatal checkup records, screenshots from the convenience store surveillance, Zheng Yi's testimony, the lab report on the blood-stained gauze. Qi Wenchen had helped me organize everything until late last night. Each document marked with page numbers and sources. My phone vibrated. It was Qi Wenchen. Arrived at the school newspaper editorial office. Could Jean has agreed to reserve the front page. A faint smile tugged at my lips. Could Jean is the editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, known for always speaking the truth. In my past life, she was deceived by Yu Yadong and wrote an article titled Reflections on the Decline of Campus Morality, which indirectly led to me being nailed to the pillar of public opinion. While washing up, Yu Yadong unexpectedly initiated a conversation. Nervous. After today, you won't have to worry about school disciplinary action anymore. I wiped the water droplets from my face and looked her straight in the eyes. What do you mean? Because you'll be directly expelled. She smiled sweetly, as if discussing the weather. The department head has already contacted the school's disciplinary committee. The evidence is solid. I clenched the towel tightly, barely holding back the urge to tear that smile off her face. The evidence she mentioned was nothing more than the lie I had fabricated. Oh really? I said calmly. Then we'll just have to wait and see. Yu Yatong was taken aback, clearly not expecting my reaction. She leaned closer to the mirror to apply lipstick, then suddenly said, "Oh, by the way, Jingyao asked me out for dinner last night." My heart clenched sharply, but I kept my composure. "Oh, what did you talk about?" "He said he finally saw your true colors." She pursed her lips smugly. "We're going to a concert together next week." I noticed she was wearing my most frequently used lipstick, even applying it the same way I do. This clumsy imitation should have been laughable. Yet it made my stomach churn in my past life. This was exactly how she gradually took my place. "Have fun." I turned and left, not letting her see my instantly pale face. Outside the rental house, Qi Wenchen leaned against the motorcycle waiting for me. He was dressed in formal wear today, with a crisp shirt collar and gold-rimmed glasses glinting in the morning light. All set. He handed me a helmet. I nodded, tucking the USB drive containing all the evidence into my inner pocket, the safest place. "Is Jingyao coming?" I asked, feigning casualness. Qi Wenchen pushed up his glasses. He said he had something more important to do. My heart sank. In my past life, he hadn't shown up at the hearing either. But by then he had already broken up with me. In this life, we were still in contact. Qi Wenchen suddenly grasped my hand. "Whether he's here or not, today's spotlight is on you." His hand was warm and dry, giving me an inexplicable surge of strength. The hearing was held in the large conference room of the administrative building. By the time we arrived, the corridor was already packed with people. There were students, teachers, and even a few reporters holding cameras. "Why are there so many people?" I asked in a low voice. Qi Wenchen sneered. Yu Yatong spread a fake rumor, saying that the investigation results of the department head's sexual assault case would be announced today. Sure enough, I saw several girls holding signs that read, "Punish the beastly teacher." Yu Yatong was really going all out with her act. Counselor Cheng stopped us at the door. "Qin ruining. The school leaders suggest you step aside for now and wait until the investigation is over before." "No need." I calmly interrupted her. "The truth becomes clearer through debate, doesn't it?" As the conference room door swung open, all eyes turned sharply toward me. At one end of the oval conference table sat the department head, the dean of student affairs, and several school leaders, their faces grim. At the other end were Yu Yatong and her father, a sharp-eyed middle-aged man in a suit. Yu Yatong was meticulously dressed today, in a white dress with light makeup, looking pure and innocent. Her father, wearing a haughty expression, was speaking in a low voice with the principal. I took a seat in the middle, with Qi Wenchen sitting beside me as my legal advisor. The meeting room quickly filled up, and even the hallway was packed with onlookers. The principal tapped the microphone. "Quiet, please. Today's hearing is to investigate the incident of student Qin ruining giving birth in the dormitory, as well as the related accusations. Everyone, please maintain order." The department head was the first to speak. "Regarding the accusation of sexual assault made by student Qin ruining against me, I demand a face-to-face confrontation." The meeting room erupted in chaos. I noticed Yu Yatong's lips curling up slightly, clearly enjoying the turmoil. "I never accused you." I stood up, my voice clear. "That was a rumor spread by Yu Yatong." "Nonsense." Yu Yatong jumped up, tears in her eyes. "Qin ruining told me herself that the department head raped her at the end of last semester." She turned to the audience, her voice choked with tears. As her best friend, I urged her to call the police, but she was afraid of retaliation. I just couldn't bear to see her suffer. So I reported it to the school. The performance was flawless. Some in the audience had already begun glaring at the department head, and a few even shouted "Beast." This was the moment I had been waiting for. "Evidence," I said calmly. "Classmate Yu Yatong, please provide proof that I said such words." She was stunned for a moment, then sneered. "You admitted it yourself in my dorm room. What more evidence do you need?" "Funny you should say that." I pulled out my phone from my bag. I just happened to have a recording. The meeting room fell silent instantly. Yu Yatong's expression changed. The recording began to play the conversation between Yu Yatong and me in the rental apartment. The child is mine and T. He department heads. He forced me. I was too scared to speak out. Yu Yatong's voice followed. Oh my God. How could you? And the child. I originally wanted to abort it, but the doctor said I have a special constitution. The recording continued playing, followed by a clip of Yu Yatong bragging to her best friend in the dormitory. Qin Ruining's child is the department head's. She admitted it herself, the department head raped her last semester. Now she's completely finished. The entire room erupted in uproar. Yu Yatong's face turned pale, and her father abruptly stood up. This is an illegal recording. It cannot be used as evidence. According to the Supreme People's Court's regulations, recordings obtained to protect one's legitimate rights and interests can be used as evidence. Qi Wenchen calmly adjusted his glasses. Moreover, the content of the recording proves that Qin Ruining never publicly accused the department head. It was Yu Yatong who spread the rumors. The principal frowned. Continue. I pressed on. Regarding the dormitory childbirth incident, I also have evidence proving that the child is not mine. I turned on the projector and played the convenience store surveillance footage. The footage clearly showed Yu Yatong, on the day of the so-called dormitory childbirth, looking pale as she bought painkillers, with an obviously abnormal walking posture. This is a forgery, Yu Yatong shrieked. The hospital records show that on that day, a patient with the same name gave birth at the Municipal Maternal and Child Health Hospital. I switched the slide. The mother's blood type is B. And the baby's is O. Biologically, a mother with type B blood cannot give birth to a baby with type O. The head of the Student Affairs Office leaned in to examine the document. It really doesn't conform to the laws of genetics. There's more. I presented Zheng Yi's testimony. Former Student Council President Zheng Yi confirmed that Yu Yatong asked him to alter the dormitory attendance records to cover up the fact that she frequently skipped classes. And though SE missed class times exactly matched her prenatal checkup records, Yu Yatong's father suddenly slammed the table and stood up. This is all a setup. My daughter is an outstanding student with good character. How could she possibly? Excellent in both character and academics. I sneered. Playing the final recording, the conversation between Yu Yatong and that mysterious boy. I've received the money. When will you delete the original video? What's the rush? This is a scandalous photo of the only son of the Jing family. It's worth a fortune. Yu Yatong's voice was unmistakably clear in the recording. Are you messing with me? Do you believe I'll expose the fact that you helped me fake things? The entire venue fell into dead silence. Yu Yatong's face turned ashen, and her father stood frozen in place. This recording proves that Yu Yatong not only framed me but is also suspected of extortion and blackmail, I said, scanning the room. As for the child's background, I suspect it involves the illegal trafficking of infants. I suggest calling the police for a thorough investigation. No, Yu Yatong suddenly screamed hysterically. You can't do this to me. Dad, do something. Her father's face turned grim as he pulled her to leave. The principal sternly stopped them. Mr. Yu, the matter has not been clarified yet. Please cooperate with the investigation. Just then, the conference room door suddenly swung open. Jing Yao strode in, followed by 2 police officers. Sorry I'm late. Without even glancing at Yu Yatong, he walked straight to the podium. I have crucial evidence. He pulled a sealed bag from his briefcase, containing a mobile phone. This is the phone Yu Yatong used to contact the baby seller. It was just seized from her dormitory last night. Yu Yatong let out an inhuman shriek and lunged at Jing Yao. How dare you go through my things? The police stopped her. Jing Yao calmly continued. Her phone contains all the chat records with the seller, as well as the transfer receipts. The child was indeed bought by her, all to frame Qin Ruining. I stared at Jing Yao in shock. So he had disappeared these past few days to gather this crucial evidence. The principal's face turned grim. Given the severity of the situation, the school will cooperate with the police investigation. Yu Yatong, you are suspended. Yu Yatong collapsed to the ground, her makeup completely ruined. No longer the glamorous figure she had been moments ago. Her father flew into a rage, but was stopped by the police. The entire venue fell into dead silence. Everyone stunned speechless by the sudden reversal. I let out a long breath and turned to Chi Wenchen, who gave me a thumbs up. Just then, the editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, Ko Jin, suddenly stood up. Classmate Qin Ruining, would you be willing to accept an exclusive interview? The public has the right to know the truth. I looked down at the audience. Countless phones aimed at me. Recording. After today, my name would be completely cleared, and Yu Yadong's misdeeds would spread across the entire school. With pleasure, I said with a smile. The hearing ended in chaos. Yu Yadong was taken away by the police for investigation, while her father roared and threatened to sue the school. Journalists swarmed around Jing Yao and me, the flashing lights so blinding that I could barely open my eyes. How did you uncover the truth? A reporter asked loudly. Jing Yao suddenly took my hand. Because I never stopped believing in her. His words made my nose sting. If he had shown even 1% of that trust in my past life, I wouldn't have ended up on a path of no return. As I left the administration building, Counselor Cheng caught up with me. Qin Ruining. The school will issue an official statement to restore your reputation. Regarding the disciplinary action, Teacher Cheng. I interrupted her. I only care about one thing: what will happen to that innocent child. She looked troubled. If it's confirmed as an illegal transaction, the child may be sent to an orphanage. My heart ached sharply. That child I had raised for 2 years in my past life, was I going to lose him again after all? Chi Wenchen and Jing Yao spoke at the same time. I can. The two exchanged a glance, both a bit embarrassed. I looked at them and suddenly made a decision. Until the police investigation is over, I will continue to take care of her. This wasn't out of obligation, but from the heart, no matter where she came from. These 2 weeks together had already made it impossible for me to let go. On the way back to the rental apartment, Jing Yao hesitated as if wanting to say something. Rui Ning. About what happened before. I'll talk about it later. I shook my head wearily. Too tired today. The truth is, I didn't know how to face him. The wounds from my past life cut too deep, while his helping hand in this life came too timely. My emotions were a tangled mess, in need of time to sort out. Chi Wenchen walked silently on my other side, maintaining just the right distance. As we neared the door, he suddenly said, "Don't forget, there's still the civil compensation lawsuit." I nodded. Yes, the revenge was not yet over. The law would give Yu Yadong the punishment she deserved. And my life, too, would turn over a new leaf. On the day the school newspaper interview was published, the entire campus was in an uproar. I walked toward the teaching building with a baby in my arms, and everyone along the way pointed at me. But unlike before, this time their eyes were filled with apology and curiosity. Qin Ruining. A girl ran over and handed me a cup of milk tea. "I'm sorry, I misunderstood you before. This milk tea is my apology." I smiled politely but didn't take it. In my past life, those who kicked me when I was down also offered such hypocritical apologies afterward. At the classroom door, Chi Wenchen was waiting for me. He was wearing a dark gray turtleneck sweater today, which made his skin look even paler. "Look at this." He handed me his phone, which displayed a trending post on the school forum. Shocking reversal. Yu Yadong framed Qin Ruining with a baby purchase, full chain of evidence exposed. The post was by Kujin, containing a curated version of the evidence we had compiled. The comments section was in an uproar. "Oh my god. Yu Yadong is so vicious. I used to curse Qin Ruining before. I really want to slap myself. That child is so pitiful. It turns out he was bought." I closed the page, feeling none of the satisfaction I had imagined. The thrill of revenge is fleeting, leaving only emptiness behind. "The school is holding an emergency meeting at 10. Chi Wenchen lowered his voice. "Yu Yadong's father is pulling strings to try to suppress the investigation." I sneered. It's too late. The news had already spread beyond the campus. On Weibo, the hashtag elite schoolgirl buys baby to frame had garnered over 10 million views. No matter how wealthy Yu Yadong's father is, he cannot withstand the tsunami of public opinion. The class bell rang. This lesson was the department head's macroeconomics class. I thought I would become the center of attention, but unexpectedly, Everyone's focus was drawn to something else. Yu Yadong's seat was empty. Quiet down. The department head tapped the podium. Let's begin the lesson. His voice was a little hoarse. And there were heavy dark circles under his eyes. These past few days must have been hard on him, innocently caught up in this turmoil. His reputation damaged. During the break, my phone vibrated. It was Jingyao. Can we meet? I'll wait for you at the back door of the library. I hesitated for a moment, but still replied. Okay. The back door of the library was rarely visited. Jingyao leaned against the plane tree, dead leaves swirling at his feet. He had grown much thinner, his jawline sharper, his eyes bloodshot. Sorry. He came straight to the point. I should have stood up sooner. I shook my head. You helped a lot in the end. Not enough. He frowned in pain. If I had believed you sooner, you wouldn't have suffered so much. Sunlight filtered through the gaps in the leaves, casting dappled shadows on his face. In my past life, I was utterly captivated by this face, willing to give up everything. Jingyao. I looked him straight in the eyes. Why did you doubt me back then? His body stiffened. Yu Yadong showed me the photos. And the fake chat logs. That's all. I pressed. Our 2 years together can't outweigh a few photos. He was silent for a long time before finally confessing. My father never approved of us being together. When I saw those photos, I actually felt a sense of relief. This answer was unexpectedly honest. And unexpectedly hurtful. And now, I asked softly, why are you helping me again? Because I was wrong. He took my hand. Ruining. Give me another chance. Okay. I promise. I need time. I pulled my hand back. Too many things have happened. I need to think clearly. The light in his eyes dimmed, but he still nodded. I'll wait for you. Back in the classroom, Qi Wenchen was organizing his notes. He looked up at me, asked nothing, and simply pushed a note over. The principal approved our request. We can check Yu Yadong's dormitory entry and exit records. A warmth spread through my heart. Qi Wenchen was always like this, never asking or saying much, yet quietly taking care of everything. The emergency meeting was held in the afternoon in the top floor conference room of the administration building. I arrived half an hour early with Qi Wenchen. But we were stopped by the security guard at the door. Only relevant personnel are allowed to attend. The guard said with a stern face. We are the victims, Qi Wenchen said, flashing his student ID. Permission personally approved by the principal. The guard examined the document suspiciously before reluctantly letting us through. There were already over a dozen people seated in the meeting room. School administrators, department heads, Counselor Cheng, and Yu Yadong with her father. Yu Yadong was barefaced today, her hair casually tied up, eyes red and swollen. Her father, dressed in a suit and tie, was speaking in a low voice with the principal. When he saw us enter, his face instantly darkened. Who allowed them in? He demanded harshly. The principal cleared his throat. Classmate Qin is a party involved and has the right to participate in the discussion. Yu Yadong jerked her head up, her gaze cutting into me like a blade. I calmly walked to a corner and sat down, with Qi Wenchen following closely behind. The meeting began as the head of the Student Affairs Office read the investigation report. The evidence is conclusive. Yu Yadong's actions constitute a serious violation of school regulations. An expulsion is recommended. Ridiculous. Yu Yadong's father slammed the table and stood up. My daughter has been framed. All that so-called evidence is fabricated. Mr. Yu. The principal's voice was icy. We have hospital records, surveillance footage, witness testimonies, and an audio recording of your daughter's own confession. You claim it's fabricated. What evidence do you have? Yu's father was speechless, his face turning ashen. Yu Yadong suddenly stood up, pointing at me and shrieking. It's her. She planned everything. She knew all along that I would. Classmate Yu Yadong. I calmly interrupted her. You mean to say? I've known all along that you would buy a baby and put it in my bed. The meeting room fell into a dead silence. Yu Yadong's face turned pale as she realized she had almost let something slip. I didn't mean that. She stammered. What does that mean? the department head asked coldly. Yu Yadong broke down. She burst into hysterical sobs, rambling in her defense. I was just joking. I didn't expect it to blow up like this. Why does Qin ruining get everything? Jingyao should be mine. Her father tried to hold her back, but she shoved him away. She grabbed the teacup on the table and hurled it at me. Qi Wenchen quickly stepped in front of me, and the tea splashed all over him. Enough. The principal snapped. Security. Take her out. 2 security guards hoisted the still struggling and screaming Yu Yadong and dragged her out of the meeting room. Her father followed out with a grim face, shooting me a vicious glare before leaving. This isn't over. After the meeting room door closed, the principal rubbed his temples wearily. Qin ruining. The school formally apologizes to you. Regarding Yu Yadong's punishment, an announcement will be made tomorrow. Counselor Cheng awkwardly approached. Ruining. I was also deceived before. I understand. I smiled. It's all for the school's reputation. Her face flushed red and white, and she retreated awkwardly. As I left the administration building, the sun had already set. The campus radio was broadcasting a statement from the school newspaper, apologizing for the previous false report. The classmates I met on the way cast looks of admiration or sympathy at me. How do you feel? Qi Wenchen asked. I shook my head. It's emptier than I imagined. Revenge didn't bring the expected satisfaction. Only an indescribable weariness. Perhaps it was because of that innocent child. Or perhaps because the person I was in my past life could never return. What do we do next? He handed me a pack of tissues to wipe my hands. The police are still investigating the baby's origin. I sighed. Until then, I'll continue to take care of her. Qi Wenchen suddenly stopped in his tracks. Actually, I found some clues about the child. My heart skipped a beat. What clues? Yu Yadong's phone records show that she bought the baby from a woman named Zhou Wen. This woman, he hesitated for a moment, is from your hometown. I was thunderstruck. What? Not only that. Qi Wenchen lowered his voice. Zhou Wen is the daughter of your mother's cousin, making her your distant cousin. My mind went blank. What did this mean? Was the child related to me by blood? Or was there a more complicated conspiracy behind all this? Do the police know? I haven't told them yet. Qi Wenchen looked at me. I wanted to ask for your opinion first. I gave him a grateful look. Even at this moment, he still respected my choice. Don't say anything for now. I thought for a moment. Let me get in touch with my parents first and find out about Zhou Wen's situation. Back at the rental house, the baby was sound asleep in the crib. I gently stroked her little face. My heart filled with mixed emotions. If she really is related to me by blood, then Yu Yadong's scheme is even more malicious. My phone suddenly rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Qin ruining. A sharp, piercing female voice said. Are you satisfied now? You've ruined my daughter's life. She is Yu Yadong's mother. Madam Yu. I said calmly. Yu Yadong was destroyed by herself. You're full of crap. She cursed hysterically. My daughter is so outstanding. If it weren't for you seducing Jingyao. Watch your language. I interrupted her. This call is being recorded. Your words may become evidence in court. There was a sudden silence on the other end of the line, followed by a loud crash, like the sound of a phone being smashed. I shook my head and hung up. The arrogance of the Yu family was ingrained in their bones. Even at this point, they still didn't think they were wrong. Just as I was about to prepare dinner, the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Jing Yao standing outside the door, holding 2 takeout bags in his hands. Can I come in? He asked. I brought your favorite sweet and sour pork ribs. I hesitated for a moment, but still opened the door. He stepped inside and paused briefly when he saw the crib. She's really cute, he said softly. What's her name? I haven't named it yet. I shook my head. The police said the adoption procedures can't be processed until the biological mother is found. Jing Yao set down the takeout and suddenly dropped to one knee. Rui Ning, marry me. I was so shocked I couldn't speak. The proposal I had dreamed of in my past life was happening in such a situation. I know the timing isn't right, he said urgently, but I want to prove I'm serious. We can raise this child together. And my parents have already agreed. Because you proved my innocence. I gave a bitter smile. Jingyao. Marriage isn't compensation. He was stunned. That's not what I meant. I need time. I repeated what I had said that morning. Too much has happened. I need to figure out what I truly want. The light in his eyes gradually dimmed. But in the end, he still nodded. I'll wait for you. No matter how long. After seeing Jingyao off, I stood by the window in a daze. Moonlight spilled onto the baby's small face, making the birthmark especially prominent. It suddenly occurred to me that my mother once mentioned she had a sister who passed away early, and she also had a birthmark on her forehead. Could this child really be my blood relative? My phone vibrated a message from Qi Wenchen. I found Zhou Wen's address. Want to go together tomorrow? I replied. Okay. No matter how cruel the truth is, I must face it. Rebirth has given me a second chance. And I will use it to protect everyone worth protecting. And Yu Yadong and her family must pay the price for their evil deeds. The school's announcement was posted in the most prominent spot on the bulletin board. Decision on the expulsion of Yu Yadong's student status. I stood at the edge of the crowd, listening to the discussions of the students around me. Serves her right. Someone like her doesn't deserve to be at our school. I heard her dad is a billionaire. Why didn't he just throw money at the problem? The media has already reported it. No amount of money can suppress it now. Next to the announcement was a feature article about me in the school newspaper. From victim to defender of the truth. Qin ruining's 20 days. The accompanying photo showed me holding a baby, smiling in the sunlight, a stark contrast to the haggard candid shot posted on the forum a month ago. Senior Qin. A girl with a ponytail suddenly ran up to me, her eyes sparkling. Can I take a photo with you? You're so brave. I was taken aback for a moment. And before I could answer, several more students gathered around, asking for autographs and photos. In my past life, I was scorned by thousands. In this life, I'm adored by the crowd. The reversal of fate is so dramatic. Sorry. I still have class. I politely extricated myself from the crowd and quickly walked toward the teaching building. At the corner, Qi Wenchen leaned against the wall waiting for me, holding 2 cups of coffee. How does it feel to be a celebrity? He handed me one, a slight smile curling at the corner of his mouth. I took the coffee and gave a bitter smile. Better than being called a slut. His smile froze for a moment, a flicker of pain flashing in his eyes. We walked side by side toward the classroom, the sunlight streaming through the glass windows of the corridor, casting long shadows on the floor. I found out about Zhou Wen. Qi Wenchen lowered his voice. She is indeed a distant relative of your mother. She came to the city to work 5 years ago, but suddenly quit her factory job last year and hasn't been seen since. My heart tightened. Does the police know? Not yet. He adjusted his glasses. I want to first confirm her relationship with the baby. I gave him a grateful look. Qi Wenchen was always like this, quietly taking care of everything, never seeking credit. In the classroom, as soon as my classmates saw me walk in, the noisy chatter immediately stopped. The professor hadn't arrived yet. I walked to my usual seat and found a bouquet of daisies and a card on the desk. Qin ruining. Sorry for misunderstanding you before. Finance class 3. My nose suddenly stung a little. In my past life, I never received an apology until the day I died. As soon as I sat down, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Jingyao. Are you free tonight? My dad wants to see you. I almost dropped my phone. Jingyao's father. The business tycoon who called me a shameless slut in my past life and forced Jingyao to break up with me. Are you sure? I replied. He insists on apologizing in person. Jingyao sent a helpless emoji. The bell rang for the end of class. Just as I was packing up my books, Ku Jin, the editor-in-chief of the school newspaper, stopped me. Rui Ning. Someone's bad-mouthing you on Weibo. She handed me her phone. An account named Truth Lord posted a lengthy article titled, Reversal. Qin ruining self-directed false accusation case. With absurd content claiming that I bribed the hospital to forge Yu Yadong's prenatal records and that I had long known the infant's biological mother. Clearly, They're bots. Kojin said angrily. The comments section is full of burner accounts. I glanced at them and instead laughed. The Yu family had finally made their move. Not going to respond? Kojin asked. Responding now would play right into their hands. I handed the phone back to her. Once the police release the results of the investigation into the baby's origins, the rumors will collapse on their own. Kojin suddenly understood and looked at me with admiration. You're much calmer than I thought. That's because I've died once. Compared to the pain of my past life. What's a little online harassment? Chi Wenchen walked over. His expression grave. The Yu family has hired the best lawyer and is preparing to countersue you for defamation. Let them come. I sneered. We have all the evidence. Not only that. He lowered his voice. Yu Yadong's father is reaching out to Jing Yao's father. Seemingly trying to apply pressure through business cooperation. My heart tightened. In my past life, Jing Yao had given up on me under family pressure. Jing Yao asked me to meet his father tonight. I said quietly. Chi Wenchen's body stiffened noticeably for a moment. But quickly returned to calm. Do you need me to come with you? No need. I shook my head. There are some things I have to face on my own. He nodded. But his eyes dimmed. I suddenly realized he might have misunderstood something. Chi Wenchen. I called out to him as he turned to leave. Can you come to the rental house tonight? I have something to tell you. A flicker of doubt passed through his eyes. But he still agreed. I had no classes in the afternoon, so I returned to my rented room to organize the evidence. The baby was sleeping soundly in the crib, her little face flushed pink. Over the past 2 weeks, I had grown accustomed to taking care of her feeding, changing diapers, and putting her to sleep. Sometimes, when I woke up in the middle of the night and saw her sleeping peacefully, I felt an inexplicable sense of reassurance. The police said they were still searching for the biological mother and that adoption procedures could not be processed for now. But I knew that if the biological mother were found, I might have to be separated from her. On the computer screen was the transfer record sent by Chi Wenchen. The 80,000 yuan that Yu Yadong paid to Zhou Wen was noted as nutritional expenses. Ridiculous, buying a baby and calling it nutritional expenses. I zoomed in on the payee's ID photo. Zhou Wen, 25 years old. With an address in my hometown county. The girl in the photo did look somewhat familiar around the eyes and brows. But I was sure I had never seen her before. My phone suddenly rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Qin Ruining. The woman's voice was hoarse and weary. I'm Yu Yadong's mother. Here we go again. I was about to hang up when she suddenly said, I'm willing to pay 500,000 to settle this privately. I sneered. Madam Yu, what your daughter has done is a criminal offense. Money can't solve this. 1 million. She raised her voice. That's enough for you to buy an apartment in the city. You can even keep that bastard child. As long as you sign a confidentiality agreement. Bastard. I looked at the sleeping baby, burning with rage. Madam Yu. I've recorded your words. See you in court. After hanging up, my hands were still trembling. These people have no bottom line. Treating lives like commodities and evil like transactions. In the evening, I changed into a simple white shirt and jeans. Ready to keep the appointment. Jing Yao said his father had booked the most upscale restaurant in the city, requiring formal attire in my past life. When I went to his house, I was also asked to do the same. Only to be criticized for dressing like a country girl. The doorbell rang. It was Jing Yao. He was dressed in a sharply tailored suit, his hair meticulously combed back, like a professional stepping out of a magazine. You look beautiful, he said, handing me an exquisite gift box. This is for you. Inside the box was a diamond necklace, sparkling under the light. In my past life, I had envied Yu Yadong for wearing a similar style. It's too valuable. I closed the box and handed it back to him. I can't accept it. A flicker of disappointment passed through Jing Yao's eyes. My dad is waiting for us. The restaurant was on the 58th floor, overlooking the city's nightscape. Jing's father sat by the window, dressed in a suit and tie, exuding a powerful presence. When he saw me, he gave a slight nod, but his gaze fell on my bare neck. Miss Qin, he said in a tone neither warm nor cold. I've heard a lot about you. I smiled politely. Hello, Uncle Jing. A waiter came to pour the wine. And Jing's father got straight to the point. My son insists on being with you. As his father. I respect his choice. I raised an eyebrow. Where had that snob who called me a social climber in my past life gone? But, he shifted his tone. The Yu family has been my long-term business partner. Now that things have turned out like this, I'm in a difficult position. So that was it. Not genuine acceptance, but a weighing of pros and cons. Dad. Jing Yao frowned. What does Yu Yadong breaking the law have to do with our family's cooperation? Jing's father waved his hand. Young people see things in black and white. The business world is like a battlefield. There are no permanent friends, nor permanent enemies. The waiter serving the dishes interrupted the conversation. Exquisite French cuisine was brought to the table course by course. But I had no appetite at all. Miss Chin. Jing's father cut into his steak. I heard you're looking for the biological mother of that child. My heart tightened. The police are investigating. What a coincidence. He smiled. I have some resources that might be able to help. Was this a threat or a bribe? I put down my knife and fork. Uncle Jing. Just say what you have to say. Straight to the point. He nodded. I can ensure that the child's biological mother never shows up. On the condition that you drop the lawsuit against Yu Yadong. I looked at Jing Yao in shock. He was equally stunned. Dad. How could you? Shut up. Father Jing snapped, cutting him off. I'm saving your girlfriend. Do you know who's behind the Yu family? If this really goes to court, they have 100 ways to make Miss Chin disappear. The noisy chatter of the restaurant suddenly faded away, leaving only the sound of blood rushing in my ears. In my past life, I did indeed disappear, be jumping into the river with my child. Thank you for your kindness, Uncle Jing. I stood up, my voice unusually calm. But I choose law. Leaving the restaurant. Jing Yao caught up and grabbed my arm. Ruining. Don't take my dad's words to heart. I'll protect you. In the night. His eyes sparkled, full of sincerity. In my past life, right before I died, the one I hated most was him. But at this moment, I suddenly understood that he was nothing more than a pawn in the family's interests. Jing Yao, I said softly, we need some time to cool off. He froze in place. What do you mean? Exactly what I said. I pulled my hand free from his. We both need to figure out what truly matters. Back in the rental apartment, the baby was already awake, babbling and playing with her own fingers. I picked her up and took a deep breath of the milky scent on her. The doorbell rang. It was Qi Wenchen. He was wearing a simple t-shirt and jeans, holding a bag of fruit in his hand. Have you eaten? He asked. I brought some. Before he could finish, the baby suddenly reached out her little hand toward him. Babbling, Qi Wenchen froze for a moment, clumsily taking the child, his posture as stiff as if he were holding a bomb. I couldn't help but laugh. Relax. She's not a fragile item. I've never held a baby before. He awkwardly adjusted his position, even his glasses going askew. Watching him fluster about, I suddenly made a decision. Qi Wenchen. I looked him straight in the eye. Why are you helping me? His body stiffened, and he nearly dropped the child. We're friends. Just friends. I took a step closer. The baby suddenly giggled, its tiny hand grabbing Qi Wenchen's glasses. He fumbled to rescue them, his ears turning bright red. Okay. He took a deep breath. I like you. Ever since the freshman orientation. This time, it was my turn to freeze. Orientation. That was 3 years ago. Do you remember? He said softly. Back then. You helped me pick up the notebook I dropped. I shook my head. I had absolutely no memory of such a small thing. It's okay. He smiled. I know Jing Yao is still in your heart. That's not it. I hesitated for a moment. I just need some time. My phone suddenly vibrated wildly. As an urgent call from Kujin. Rui Ning. Check Weibo now. Someone has exposed the birth mother's information of the baby. I quickly opened my computer. The third trending topic was Exposed birth mother of dormitory childbirth case. Clicking on it led to an exclusive scoop posted by a newly registered account, claiming to have found the baby's birth moth-era migrant worker named Zhou along with a photo of her ID card and home address. The most terrifying part is that the article insinuates that Zhou is related to my mother, suggesting that the whole thing is a scam orchestrated by me and my relative. The Yu family's counterattack. Qi Wenquan's face darkened. They want to shift the focus. I stared intently at the screen. The comments had already exploded. So Qin Ruining is the mastermind behind it all, directing and acting out a sob story to gain sympathy. So disgusting. Isn't that Zhou and her cousin? The whole family conspiring to scam money. In just a few minutes, public opinion took a sharp turn. My phone started receiving non-stop calls and abusive messages from strangers. Qi Wenquan put the child back in the crib and snapped my laptop shut. Stop looking. We'll go find Zhou first thing tomorrow morning. Before the Yu family does. I nodded. But a wave of helplessness washed over me. The Yu family's influence was even greater than I had imagined. Would they really make me disappear? The despair I felt before jumping into the river in my past life came rushing back. But this time, looking at the baby's sleeping face and Qi Wenquan's determined eyes, I knew I wasn't alone. No matter what happens, I said softly, I will protect her. Qi Wenquan held my hand. Together. At 4 a.m, I was startled awake by the cries of a baby. Outside the window, it was still pitch black, with only the dim yellow light of the street lamp seeping through the gap in the curtains. Mechanically, I prepared the formula and changed the diaper. My movements as practiced as if I had done them 1,000 times, and in fact, in my past life, I had. There. Don't cry, I whispered softly, gently rocking her and humming a lullaby I had made up myself. In my past life, before I jumped into the river, I had also coaxed her to sleep like this. The phone screen lit up, showing over a dozen unread messages and missed calls. The latest one was from Qi Wenquan. I found Zhou's current address. I'll pick you up at 7. I replied with a single word. Okay. And then opened Weibo. The top trending topic was still dormitory childbirth case, biological mother exposed. But now there was an explosive tag next to it. I clicked in, and the latest update was a deep analysis by a well-known influencer, interpreting whether Qin Ruining constitutes an accomplice from a legal perspective. The comments section was unbearable. A woman with a venomous heart, using even a relative's child for money. The school should expel her. My fingers trembled slightly. Overnight, I had gone from being a victim back to being a liar. The Yu family's online trolls were truly efficient. After the baby fell asleep again, I quietly opened my computer and logged into the campus forum. The pinned post was Kujin's statement. A serious statement regarding false online information. But the comments below had already been overrun by hired trolls. Has the school newspaper been bought off too? How much did Qin Ruining pay you? This trash school is shielding a criminal. The doorbell suddenly rang, startling me. It was only 6:30. Why was Qi Wenquan here so early? Through the peephole, I saw a deliveryman standing outside. Package for Qin Ruining. Just leave it at the door, I said warily. Only after the footsteps faded away did I open the door to retrieve the package. It was very small, with no sender information. When I opened it, inside was a photo and a letter. The photo was a close-up of a baby, with a large red X drawn over it. The letter had only one line. The price of meddling is death. My legs gave way, and I collapsed to the ground. The fear I felt before my death in my past life surged back like a tide, the icy river water. The suffocating pain. The endless darkness. My phone suddenly rang. It was Qi Wenquan. I'm downstairs. His voice calmed me down a little. I quickly took a photo of the threatening letter for evidence and placed the original in a sealed bag. Qi Wenquan was driving a low-key black sedan today, with a laptop and a stack of documents in the back seat. The moment he saw me, he frowned. You look terrible. I received a threatening letter. I handed him my phone to show the photo. His gaze instantly turned cold. Did you call the police? Not yet. I'll go find Zhou first. Qi Wenquan hesitated. as if wanting to say something, but finally nodded. Fasten your seatbelt. The car merged into the morning rush hour traffic. Chi Wenchen handed me a brown paper bag. The information I found last night. About Yu Yatong. I opened it and found a few photos from high school and a withdrawal application. In the photos, a thin, small girl stood on the rooftop of the school building, her expression filled with despair. The withdrawal application was signed Lin Xiaoyu, and the reason column read voluntary withdrawal due to personal reasons. This is Yu Yatong's high school classmate. Chi Wenchen's voice was low. 3 years ago, she used similar tactics to frame this girl for theft, nearly driving her to jump off a building. I gasped. Is there evidence? Lin Xiaoyu is willing to testify. Chi Wenchen turned the steering wheel. She's currently receiving treatment in a psychiatric hospital. Looking at the despair in the girl's eyes in the photo, I felt a tightness in my chest. Yu Yatong's malice wasn't a momentary impulse, it was ingrained in her bones. It gets worse. Chi Wenchen glanced at me. The Yu family is reaching out to Zhou Wen's family, trying to bribe them into giving false testimony. We have to get ahead of them. I clenched my fists. Zhou Wen's address was an old apartment building on the outskirts of the city, where the city meets the suburbs. The hallway was dim and narrow, the walls plastered with small ads. We stopped in front of apartment 502. Chi Wenchen knocked for a long time, but no one answered. Could it be that my heart sank? Chi Wenchen crouched down and pulled a flyer from under the door. A utility bill reminder. Dated 2 days ago. Someone should still be living here. We decided to wait downstairs. An hour later, a young woman in a red coat walked into the apartment building, even though she was wearing a mask. Those eyes were exactly the same as the ones in the ID photo. Zhou Wen. I rushed over to block her. She stepped back like a startled rabbit. Who are you? About that baby. I lowered my voice. How much did the Yu family pay you? We'll double it. Zhou Wen's eyes flickered. I don't know what you're talking about. Stop pretending. Chi Wenchen showed the transfer record on his phone. This is proof that you took money from Yu Yatong. Trading infants is a criminal offense, punishable by at least 5 years in prison. Zhou Wen's face instantly turned pale. It's none of my business. I just helped make the connection. Whose connection? I pressed. She bit her lip and remained silent. Chi Wenchen tried a different approach. Who are the child's biological parents? I can't say. Zhou Wen's voice trembled. They'll kill me. The Yu family? I asked. She shook her head. Her eyes filled with fear. Someone more terrifying than the Yu family. I wanted to press further, but Zhou Wen suddenly pushed me away and rushed toward the stairs. Chi Wenchen wanted to chase after her, but I stopped him. Wait. A wallet lay on the ground, likely dropped by Zhou Wen during her struggle. I picked it up and opened it. Inside, besides cash and identification, there was also a photo. A young woman holding a baby stood in front of a rural mud house. The woman's face had been slashed with a knife, but the birthmark on the baby's forehead was clearly visible. This is. I turned the photo over. On the back, a date and address were written, along with a line of small text. Sister. Always remember this lesson. My hands began to tremble. The baby in the photo was unmistakably the child I am now taking care of. And that address was the village of my hometown. What's wrong? Chi Wenchen asked with concern. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out. A terrible suspicion took shape in my mind. Could this child actually be related to me by blood? My phone suddenly rang. It was Jing Yao. I hesitated for a moment but still answered. Rui Ning. His voice was unusually urgent. Where are you? Don't go back to school under any circumstances. What's wrong? Someone posted on the school forum saying they're going to teach you a lesson in public. He was out of breath, as if he had been running. I've already contacted security. But don't show yourself for now. Just as I was about to reply, a commotion and Jing Yao's angry roar came through the phone. What are you doing? Let go of me. Then came the sounds of a scuffle and a dull thud. And the call was cut off. Something's wrong. I turned to Chi Wenchen. Jing Yao might be in trouble. We immediately rushed back to school. As soon as we entered the gate, We saw a crowd gathered in front of the bulletin board. A huge poster was pasted on the bulletin board. Teen ruining. A fraudster. Get out of campus. Below it was my photo, marked with a red cross. In the center of the crowd, Jing Yao was confronting several boys, with blood at the corner of his mouth. Jing Yao. I rushed over. Everyone turned to look at me. Their eyes varied, some curious, some disgusted, and others sympathetic. Rui Ning. Jing Yao broke free from the restraints and stumbled over to me. Why are you here? Leave quickly. Who did this? I stared at the injuries on his face. It doesn't matter. He tried to pull me away. Let's just. Teen ruining. A boy in a baseball cap stepped forward. Using an innocent baby for publicity, aren't you disgusted with yourself? The onlookers began to jeer. Get out of school. Liar. Shameless. Chi Wenchen stood in front of me. If you have evidence, go to the police. Don't slander people here. Oh. Changed men again. The baseball cap sneered. Master Jing. Your girlfriend sure has diverse tastes. Jing Yao threw a punch. And chaos erupted instantly. The security guard's whistle sounded. And the crowd scattered. We took the opportunity to leave and hid in the library study room. Are you okay? I handed Jing Yao a tissue to wipe off the blood. He shook his head. His gaze complex as he looked at me and Chi Wenchen. Where did you two go so early in the morning? Looking for clues. I said briefly. But why did you get into a conflict with them? They insulted you. Jing Yao clenched his fists. I wrote a long post to clear your name. But the student union deleted it. Only then did I notice that on his phone screen was an unsent article. The truth I witnessed firsthand. How teen ruining was framed. Does your dad know? I asked. Jing Yao gave a bitter smile. I just had a huge fight with him. He froze my credit card. But I don't care. A warmth spread through my heart. In my past life, Jing Yao had never once stood up to his family for me. Chi Wenchen's phone suddenly rang. As he answered, his expression grew increasingly grave. When did this happen? All right. I understand. After hanging up, he looked at me. The U Group is under investigation by the Securities Regulatory Commission for suspected financial fraud. The stock opened at its daily limit down. And Yu Yadong's father has been taken in for questioning. Jing Yao whistled. Karma. But I couldn't bring myself to feel happy. A cornered beast will still fight. With no way out. The Yu family would only grow more desperate. Sure enough. My phone immediately buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Drop the case immediately. Or Zhou Wen won't survive tonight. A chill ran through me. This wasn't an empty threat, the Yu family was truly capable of it. What's wrong? Chi Wenchen noticed my unusual behavior. I showed him the text message. We have to save Zhou Wen. It might be a diversion. Jing Yao warned. The Yu family hates you the most right now. But Zhou Wen is the only one who knows the child's background. I insisted. We decided to split up. Jing Yao went to find his friend at the police station, while Chi Wenchen and I returned to Zhou Wen's apartment. On the way, a push notification popped up on Weibo. Breaking. Chairman of the U Group taken into custody on suspicion of bribery. The accompanying image showed Yu Yadong's father being led away by the police, with Yu Yadong and her mother following behind, their faces deathly pale. The comments section was filled with cheers. Serves him right. Karma. Check if his daughter is an accomplice. I turned off my phone, yet felt no trace of relief in my heart. Those who wronged me in my past life were reaping what they sowed. But I couldn't bring myself to feel joy because of that innocent child. Because of Zhou Wen's unknown whereabouts. Because of all the people Yu Yadong had hurt. We're here. Chi Wenchen stopped the car. Stay in the car. I'll go up and take a look. I'm coming with you. I insisted. Zhou Wen's apartment door was slightly ajar. And the sound of furniture being overturned came from inside. Chi Wenchen gestured for me to step back as he gently pushed the door open. The apartment was in complete disarray, with drawers and cabinets all pulled open, and the photos on the walls torn to shreds. Zhou Wen was not inside. But there was a fresh pool of blood on the floor. Call the police, I said, my voice trembling. Chi Wenchen had already dialed the number. While waiting for the police, I discovered a birth certificate in the debris that had been torn apart and then pieced back together. The baby's name column was blank, but the mother's column read Zhou I. And the father's column was blacked out with ink, with only the character Qin legible. Qin. Most people in my hometown village share the surname Qin, including my mother. The police arrived quickly, took statements, and cordoned off the scene. Zhou I was listed as a missing person, but the officer hinted that the outcome was likely grim. By the time I left the police station, it was already dark. Exhausted, I leaned against the car window, watching the neon lights blur into streaks in the rain. "Take you home?" Qi Wenchen asked. I shook my head. "I need to see the child first." A police car was parked downstairs at the rental building. My heart sank as I rushed upstairs, only to find the door wide open, with 2 police officers questioning the neighbors. "What happened?" I rushed in. "The crib is empty, Ms. Qin ruining." The older police officer walked over. "The child has been taken away by the welfare home. Someone reported you for suspected child trafficking." I felt as if struck by lightning. Who reported it? An anonymous call. But the procedures were complete. So we cooperated. Qi Wenchen steadied me as I swayed, nearly collapsing. "Which orphanage?" "Sunshine Orphanage. The one in the east of the city." We drove there immediately. On the way, I clutched the fragment of the birth certificate tightly, my mind filled with that single character Qin. If the child was truly a relative of mine, why was it in Yu Yadong's hands? Who was the person more terrifying than the Yu family that Zhou I had mentioned? The orphanage's gate was tightly shut, and the staff on duty refused to let us see the child. Without a court order, no one is allowed to see them. I am her guardian. I was on the verge of breaking down. "Not legally," the staff member said coldly, "until the DNA test results come out. She is under our guardianship." On the way back, I finally broke down in tears. For the first time since my rebirth, I felt so powerless, cleared of injustice, punished the enemy, yet unable to protect even an innocent child. Qi Wenchen pulled the car over to the side of the road and gently held me. "It will be okay. We will definitely find her." I leaned on his shoulder, my tears soaking through his shirt. In my past life, when I jumped into the river, I held that child in the same way, only then it was filled with despair. But now I have Qi Wenchen. I have Jingyao. I have the truth. And I have hope. The trial starts tomorrow. I wiped away my tears. "We're going to make Yu Yadong pay." Qi Wenchen tightened his grip on my hand. Together, the night was as dark as ink. But dawn would eventually come. The courtroom was packed with journalists, their cameras and microphones aimed at everyone coming and going. I wore the simplest white shirt and black dress pants, with my hair tied back in a neat ponytail. Qi Wenchen was right today. The spotlight is on the evidence, not me. Nervous, Qi Wenchen handed me a bottle of water. I shook my head, but my palms were sweating. In my past life, I never even made it into the courtroom before being driven to a dead end by public opinion and pressure. "Where is Jingyao?" I looked around. "He went to the welfare home to negotiate about the child." Qi Wenchen adjusted his glasses. "He said he would bring the child back no matter what." A warmth stirred in my heart. The cold and heartless Jingyao from my past life was now going to such lengths for my sake. The bailiff opened the side door. "Plaintiff Qin ruining. Please enter." The courtroom was smaller than I had imagined, yet solemn and dignified. The gallery was packed, and I recognized a few school newspaper reporters and classmates. In the last row, Jingyao had arrived at some point and nodded at me. At the defendant's table, Yu Yadong wore an ill-fitting black suit, her delicate makeup unable to conceal her haggardness. Her father sat beside her, dressed in a suit and tie, his eyes dark and sinister. When she saw me, a flicker of malice passed through Yu Yadong's eyes, quickly replaced by a pitiful expression. The judge struck the gavel. "The court is now in session." Plaintiff Qin ruining sues defendant Yu Yadong for defamation. "Plaintiff, please make your statement." I stood up, my voice clear. "Your Honor, on September 15 last year, The defendant Yu Yadong placed a purchased infant on my dormitory bed and spread rumors claiming it was my child born out of wedlock. After stating the facts, I presented evidence, audio recordings, surveillance videos, medical records, and witness testimonies. Each piece of evidence sparked murmurs from the audience. Order. The judge banged the gavel. The defendant may cross-examine. Yu Yadong's Layera lean man with slick back hair stood up. My client denies all charges. The audio recording provided by the plaintiff is suspected of being obtained through illegal means. The video surveillance may have been edited, and the medical records are irrelevant to this case. Chi Wenchen immediately retorted. According to the Supreme People's Court's provisions on evidence in civil litigation, audio recordings obtained to protect one's own lawful rights and interests can be used as evidence. The video has been appraised by a professional institution and shows no signs of editing. The medical records prove that the defendant did give birth on the so-called dormitory childbirth day, while the plaintiff has a complete alibi for that day. The judge nodded. Does the defendant's lawyer have any other cross-examination opinions? The slick lawyer wiped sweat from his forehead. The plaintiff accuses my client of purchasing a baby, but cannot provide direct evidence of the transaction. I looked at Chi Wenchen, who smiled slightly and pressed the remote control. The projection screen displayed the chat records and transfer receipts between Yu Yadong and Zhou Wen. Is the child healthy? Very healthy. 6 pounds 2 ounces. The money has been transferred to you. Remember. Never show up. The courtroom erupted in uproar. Yu Yadong abruptly stood up. This is forged. I never. Sit down. The judge sternly ordered. Yu Yadong's father pulled her back and whispered something to her. She sat down reluctantly, her face deathly pale. Call the witness to the stand. The judge announced. The first witness was Zheng Yi. He gave a detailed account of how Yu Yadong had asked him to alter attendance records and fabricate scandalous photos of Jingyao. The second witness was the convenience store clerk, who confirmed that the customer in the surveillance footage was Yu Yadong. The final witness was Lin Zia, a youth girl whom Yu Yadong had framed during high school. She sat in the wheelchair, her expression timid, her voice as faint as a mosquito's hum. Yu Yadong put the class funds in my bag, accused me of stealing. The whole school cursed me. I jumped and became paralyzed. A collective gasp echoed from the spectator seats. Yu Yadong's father turned pale with anger, while Yu Yadong herself began to tremble. Does the defendant have anything to say? The judge asked. Yu Yadong suddenly stood up, screaming hysterically. They're all lying. Qin ruining bribed everyone. She's jealous of me because Jingyao likes me. The judge banged the gavel 3 times. Order in the court. You old fool. What do you know? Yu Yadong pointed at the judge and yelled. My father donated money to this court. You should rule in my favor. The entire courtroom was stunned. Yu Yadong's father abruptly stood up to pull her back, but she shoved him away violently. You're all useless. She turned to me, her eyes filled with madness. Qin ruining. Do you think you've won? That bastard will never come back. Zhou Wen has already. The bailiffs quickly stepped forward, restraining her and leading her away. Her final scream echoed through the courtroom. My father will kill all of you. The judge announced a 10-minute recess. I was trembling all over, both from the near victory and from Yu Yadong's words. That bastard will never come back. Chi Wenqing took my hand. She's bluffing. Jingyao has already gone to find the child. The court recess ended, and the judge pronounced the verdict in court. The defendant Yu Yadong is found guilty of defamation. She is ordered to publish an apology in the school newspaper and provincial-level newspapers. Compensate the plaintiff 80,000 yuan for emotional distress, and bear all litigation costs. The public gallery erupted in applause. Reporters rushed out of the courtroom to file their stories. Yu Yadong's father had quietly left before the verdict was announced, not even bothering about his daughter. As I stepped out of the courthouse, the sunlight was so bright it hurt my eyes. Reporters swarmed around me, flooding me with questions. Classmate Qin, how does it feel to win the case? Will Yu Yadong be held criminally responsible? Where is that child now? I didn't answer a single question. I won the case, cleared my name, and punished my enemy, but my heart was left with only emptiness. Let's go. Qi Wenchen shielded me as we pushed through the crowd. Jing Yao's car was parked by the roadside, and he rolled down the window, his face serious. My heart sank had they not found the child. Get in and talk, he said, opening the car door. Inside the car, Jing Yao handed me a document. The orphanage refused to hand over the child, saying they need to wait for the DNA test results. How long will it take? At least 2 weeks. He sighed. My dad. He might have interfered. I clenched my fists. Mr. Jing again. Why is he so fixated on that child? Don't worry, Qi Wenchen reassured me. We can apply for visitation rights first to ensure the child's safety. The phone suddenly rang. It was Kujin. Rui Ning. Check Weibo quickly. Trending topic 1. Yu Yedong court meltdown video. Clicking in. It showed a clip of her verbally abusing the judge in court. With over 10 million views. The comments were overwhelmingly negative. Is she mentally ill? People like her don't deserve to go to university. Did her father donate money to the court? Investigate if there was any bribery. The second trending topic was Yu Group's stock price plummets. The news reported that Yu's father had already flown abroad, and the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. The third trending topic left me stunned. Apologize to Qin ruining. Clicking into it revealed a pinned post on the school forum, with thousands of comments apologizing to me and sharing their own experiences of being bullied at school. How does it feel? Qi Wenchen asked softly. I shook my head, unable to speak. The vindication I had longed for in my past life had finally arrived. Yet there was none of the anticipated joy. The whereabouts of that child, Zhou Wen's disappearance, and the obstruction from Jing's father. Too many mysteries remained unsolved. You need rest. Qi Wenchen looked at me with concern. Post-trial depression is quite common. Jing Yao suggested. How about a drink to celebrate? No. Qi Wenchen shook his head. She needs professional help. An hour later, I was sitting in the office of a psychiatrist. The doctor, surnamed Chen, was a friend of Qi Wenchen's relative, gentle and professional. Post-traumatic stress disorder. Dr. Chen diagnosed after hearing my story, especially for those who have experienced suicide. Even after rebirth, the subconscious may still carry residual trauma. What should I do then? I asked quietly. First, accept your emotions. Dr. Chen handed me a glass of warm water. The emptiness after winning a lawsuit is normal. Second, establish new life goals. Revenge is complete. What will you live for next? What to live for? In my past life, I lived for love, for others' approval, and ended up dying miserably. In this life, what should I live for? When leaving the clinic, it was already dark. Qi Wenchen insisted on seeing me home, while Jing Yao said he would continue searching for news about the child. At the foot of the rental building, Qi Wenchen suddenly said, starting tomorrow, try doing something unrelated to revenge. Like what? Join a club, learn a new skill, or, he hesitated, go on a date with me. I froze. Under the moonlight, his eyes sparkled, both hopeful and afraid of rejection. I was about to answer when my phone suddenly rang. It was an MMS from an unknown number, photo of a sleeping baby with the caption, want her back. Meet at the old pier tomorrow night at 8. Come alone. My heart nearly stopped. Was this a trap or a glimmer of hope? What's wrong? Qi Wenchen asked. I showed him the message. His expression changed abruptly. Don't go. It must be the Yu family. But what if we can really find the child? I'll go with you. The message said to go alone. Qi Wenchen clenched his fists. Then I'll call the police. I shook my head. They'll hurt the child. I have to go. He looked at me, then finally gave in. At least let me keep watch from a distance. Back home, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. My phone kept vibrating with congratulatory messages and media interview requests. I didn't reply to any of them. At 3 in the morning, Jing Yao sent a message. Found something about the child. We'll talk tomorrow. I replied. I have plans tomorrow night. How about meeting in the morning? He replied instantly. Got it. 9 o'clock. Back door of the library. I put down my phone and walked to the window. Moonlight flowed like water. By this time tomorrow, I might have found that child or fallen into an even deeper trap. Either way, this time, I won't face it alone. The old dock lay on the outskirts of the city. Abandoned for years. With only a few dim streetlights still functioning. I stood at the agreed location. The sea breeze carrying a salty, briny scent toward me. My phone vibrated. Qin Wencheng had sent a location. He was hiding behind a container 50 meters away. Jing Yao was supposed to come too, but after our meeting yesterday, he suddenly said he had urgent business and left, leaving only a warning. Be careful. Footsteps sounded in the distance. A slender figure emerged from the darkness, clutching something in her arms. Zhou Wen. I called out tentatively. The figure approached, and the streetlight illuminated her facade was Zhou Wen. But she looked 10 times more haggard than in the photos. The bundle in her arms was the child. Here's your child back, she said hoarsely, thrusting the baby directly into my hands. I don't want the money anymore. Just please don't kill me. I was stunned. Who would want to kill you? Zhou Wen nervously glanced around. They're not human. They'd do anything for money. Who? I pressed. The Yu family. She shook her head, suddenly grabbing my hand. Qin ruining. Listen to me. Stop investigating. Take the child and run far away. Some secrets. The less you know, the better. Why does this child have the same birthmark as my mother? I cut straight to the point. Zhou Wen as if burned. You know. Know what? She took 2 steps back, shaking her head. No, I can't say. They'll. A sharp screech of brakes cut through the air. In the distance, blinding car headlights flashed on, and Zhou Wen's face turned pale. They're here. She turned and ran. Wait. I tried to follow, but the child in my arms began to cry. The headlights drew nearer. Qi Wencheng rushed out from the shadows and grabbed me. Hurry. Let's go. We ran toward his car. Behind us, Zhou Wen's scream echoed, followed by another sharp break. I turned back and saw only a few figures struggling together. Then a dull thud. Zhou Wen collapsed. Call the police. I shouted. Qi Wencheng had already dialed 110. We hid in the car, watching the unfamiliar vehicle drive away. Police and an ambulance arrived quickly, but Zhou Wen was already lifeless. Murder, the officer said seriously. Do you know the victim? I nodded and then shook my head. She just gave the child back to me. The officer looked at us suspiciously. Please come to the station to give your statements. We weren't allowed to leave the police station until the early hours of the morning. The medical examiner preliminarily determined that Zhou Wen had died from a heavy blow to the back of her head. As for the child she handed to me, the examination showed he was in good health. The DNA test results are out. A female officer handed me a document. You're the child's cousin. I stared at the report in shock. What does this mean? The child's mother is Zhou Wen. And the father? The policewoman hesitated. The records show it's your uncle's son, your cousin. A child born from close relatives. My stomach churned. No wonder the child has the same birthmark as my mother. Can we find out about the relationship between Zhou Wen and my cousin? The female police officer shook her head. Your cousin passed away 3 years ago. A car accident. Stepping out of the police station, the sky was just beginning to lighten. The child in my arms was sleeping soundly, his little hand unconsciously clutching my collar. What do we do now? Qi Wenchen asked. I took a deep breath. Let's go home first. Then, I want to see my parents. A month later, I stood in front of my hometown home, my heart pounding like thunder. It had been 2 years since I last returned in my previous life. After being expelled from school, my parents were ashamed of me and didn't even let me through the door. Qi Wenchen stood behind me, holding the child. Ready. I nodded and pressed the doorbell. My mother opened the door. She had aged a lot, with streaks of white at her temples. Seeing me, she froze for a moment. Then her gaze immediately fell on the child. This is. Her voice trembled. Zhou Wen's child. I looked straight into her eyes. Also cousin's child. Right. Mother staggered. and father rushed over upon hearing the noise, seeing the birthmark on the child's forehead. His face instantly turned pale. In the living room, mother shakily recounted an extremely melodramatic story. Cousin and Zhou Wen had pledged their love in secret, but after Zhou Wen became pregnant, cousin died in a car accident. Zhou Wen wanted to abort the child, but a mysterious person offered a high price to take the baby away. We don't know who she sold it to, the father said painfully, until we saw the news. Why didn't you say so earlier? I demanded. We were afraid. The mother sobbed. Afraid it would affect your studies. I sneered. In my previous life, when I was wronged, they didn't even give me a chance to defend myself. Where's the child's birth certificate? Qi Wencheng asked. The mother took out an envelope from deep inside the cabinet. Zhou Wen sent it secretly. We didn't dare to make it public. Opening the envelope, there was the child's birth certificate and a photograph. In the photo, her cousin and Zhou Wen were holding the newborn, smiling happily. On the back was written, "To Aunt. This is the bloodline of the Qin family. Please protect her well." My eyes grew warm with tears. In my past life, I never knew until the end that the child I was forced to raise was actually my own family. We want to adopt her, I said, taking Qi Wencheng's hand. My parents exchanged a glance and nodded in agreement. After returning to school, life began a new chapter. Yu Yatong was admitted to a sanatorium due to mental instability. Her father's company went bankrupt, and the entire family emigrated overseas. It said that Yu Yatong later escaped from the sanatorium and survived by working illegally in a Southeast Asian country. Zhou Wen's case became an unsolved mystery due to insufficient evidence. But deep down, I knew the mastermind was likely connected to the Jing family. Jing Yao suddenly went abroad after that night, leaving only a letter saying, "Wait for me to uncover the truth." Qi Wenchen and I officially started dating. He's gentle, steadfast, and most importantly, he sees the real men at some fantasy. On the eve of graduation, I founded a campus anti-bullying support group to help classmates who, like me, had been wronged and ostracized. The first event attracted over 30 people, who shared their stories and supported one another. "You've changed," Kojin said to me after the event. "More radiant." I smiled. It wasn't that I had changed, but that I had finally become the person I was meant to be. At the graduation ceremony, I spoke as the representative of outstanding graduates. Standing on the podium, looking at the sea of faces in the audience, I shared my story being framed, fighting back, and rebirth. Pain does not define us. How we face pain does. I said, if any of you are going through darkness, remember, light lies ahead. Applause erupted. Below the stage, Qi Wencheng held our child, smiling brighter than the sun. After graduation, Qi Wenchen and I co-founded Dawn Law Firm, specializing in providing legal aid to disadvantaged groups. The first case was to help Lin Zai, a youth girl who had been framed and disabled by Yu Yatong, secure compensation. The child was officially named Qin Chen, symbolizing dawn. When she began babbling, the first word she learned to say was sister, followed by Wenchen. One weekend, we took Xiao Chen to the park. As she wobbled while learning to walk, Qi Wenchen and I flanked her protectively on either side. "Have you thought about having another child?" he suddenly asked. My face flushed. "Isn't Xiao Chen enough to keep you busy?" "I just wanted to." He unusually stumbled over his words. "Formally, our child." I was about to reply when my phone suddenly rang. It was an international call. "Qin ruining." A voice, familiar yet unfamiliar, said, "This is Yu Yatong." I froze. The voice on the other end of the phone was hoarse and exhausted, bearing no trace of the once pampered young lady. "Something wrong?" I asked calmly. I need help." She choked out. "I'm in Cambodia. I don't have a passport. No money. They're forcing me to work as a prostitute." I paused for a moment. "Why should I help you? I know I've wronged you." She began to cry. "But I truly have no way out. Please." Watching Qi Wenchen playing with Xiao Chen not far away, I suddenly felt a sense of relief. "Send me the address," I said. I'll contact the embassy. After hanging up, Chi Wenchen walked over and asked, "Who was that? A lost soul?" I smiled. "Let's go home." As the sun set in the west, the shadows of the three of us stretched long, merging together until we couldn't tell them apart. In my past life, I had leaped into the icy river with resentment and unwillingness in my heart. But in this life, holding the hands of my beloved and my sister, I walked toward the warmth of home. This is the best gift rebirth has given me. End of text.